Cycle syncing has become so popular in feminine wellness right now, and if you're on birth control, you might be saying, well, I still bleed every month, so does this apply to me too? In this video, I'm going to explain to you the truth about birth control when it comes to your cycle and how it can impact you differently. I think it always helps for us to first understand the original design of our phases, and I'll keep it super brief so that way you can be able to compare it properly to birth control. First, we'll start off with the follicular phase. This is when your body's actually developing the eggs and making your womb extra soft and thick and cushiony so it can hold an egg and eventually a baby. Next is going to move over to ovulation, when your body is going to release the egg. Next, your body moves into luteal, and this is when your womb holds it in place. Then once the body realizes there's no pregnancy here, it breaks all of that down naturally and you have a period. But when we are on birth control, everything works very differently. The medication you take with birth control shuts down the hormones that creates those phases. So it shuts down the hormone FSH, which keeps the body from producing the follicles, which would be removing the follicular phase. It shuts down the hormone LH, which tells the body to release the egg, which would be ovulation. So no ovulation is happening. And if no ovulation is happening, then there is no luteal phase. So all that you're left with is the bleeding part. Now, that part's really confusing because how is it breaking anything down? When you're on birth control, instead of your womb being soft, thick, and cushiony to hold a baby, it actually makes the lining very thin so that it doesn't hold anything in place. And when you're taking the synthetic hormones, it sends the signals to your womb to hold everything in place until you stop taking it. So when you take your placebo pills, or you take out your ring, or your birth control starts to wear off, whether you have the shot or patch, that's when the body goes through withdrawal. So it no longer gets the signal to hold the lining in place. And that's where everything starts to break down and bleeding happens. But it's not happening naturally from your own system. And you might also say, well, I know when I do go through that placebo week or I do have the bleeding, I still feel those PMS or PMDD symptoms. So what's that about? That is your brain's response to the withdrawal from the birth control. Because it's no longer receiving those chemical messages to suppress your hormones, it can create a lot of withdrawal and still impact your mood during that time. So in turn, it can still feel kind of like you're having a regular period. Birth control releases the synthetic hormones estradiol and progestin at the same time. So instead of having the rise and fall in different phases, your body experiences more of a steady, flattened hormonal signal, creating no phases in your cycle. If you're on non-hormonal birth control, like a copper IUD, then this is where you still maintain your natural cycle, but the environment is more hostile towards sperm, making it effective for birth control. So how would you actually sync with birth control? Because there are no phases to experience, you would adjust based on the capacity of energy you have for the day. You could also make adjustments based on the active pill week versus the placebo pill week, and have the awareness that during the placebo week is when you may feel a little bit more sensitive during that time, and not sign up for too many things that would require a lot of energy and socializing. And a common question I get in my community is, does birth control really help with PMDD, or is this just changing how my symptoms are showing up? If you want to know more about that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because that video is coming up next.